The possibility of rate cuts in June is down to 69% from 90% after the drop of the US CPI and then the PPI, the inflation gauge or inflation measurement news. That is the CPI and the PPI, and we still have a strong US economy. Because you can see from the result of the CPI, the buying power of the citizen in the United States is still very on the high side, and that's because they've been able to control inflation to the large extent. And after the CPI and the PPI drop, we saw the strength coming back to the US dollar on Tuesday, and then on Friday, after some minutes after the PPI on Friday, we now saw the decline in the US dollar. So what are we now looking at here? The buyers still support the US dollar strength because we have a decrease in the percentage of rate cuts in July this year from 90% to 69%, which means that they have no basis for cutting interest rates after seeing what they actually want, and then that is, I think the economy is working in their favor. So welcome to Ambafx YouTube channel. Here I bring you the latest insights in the world of forex market, from the economy to the technical analysis, based on my own perspective, based on my own bias and what is happening in the markets environment. So what are we now looking at on the DSY? I'm still expecting strength in the DSY. That is for the US dollar strength for the next couple of weeks until otherwise. And if you check the DSY, so I'm actually looking at for here, it's surprised to come back here, and then we have a bullish bias from here back to 105,951, or we see a retest of 103,681, and then a bounce to retest 105,981. So that's basically what I'm still anticipating on the DSY, for price to come back to this support level, because if we use, like we've been seeing what they call the higher from this area, so probably we should see this probably coming back to this support level, and then we have a rejection from there back to 105,951. So that's probably, and that is basically what I'm expecting in the DSY for a strong US dollar for the next couple of weeks, because as you can see, as things unfold now, there is a break of this resistance level and the retest. So probably we should see price bouncing back to the upside at this very level of 104,275. So basically, in the daily time frame too, I'm actually looking at a bounce from this particular level back to the upside. That is for market to just come and retest this area, and then we'll see a bullish bias back to 105,951. And before we check the individual pairs, let's check the economic data for last week and then economic data for this week, how what they are going to drop this week and how we can incorporate it to our chart. The significant one we have last week is the CPI and the PPI. That is the CPI on Tuesday and the PPI on Friday. That is the core PPI. So both are inflation measure news, and then as you can see, both of them comes better than expected. The release were better than expected. And this week, what are the significant one we have this week? This week we have from the Canadian dollar, that is a CPI report from the Canadian dollar on Tuesday, and then we have the French manufacturing PMI, the French service PMI rather, and German flash manufacturing PMI. So on Thursday too, we have the pounds flash manufacturing PMI, and then one thing you should know that the UK is in recession, and then with the possibility of with UK being in recession and the US dollar strength, we should know that GBP USD should sell. You understand? Because we have a stronger dollar, and these guys are in a recession. So probably next week I'm looking to sell GBP US dollar, Euro US dollar, and then AUD US dollar. So next week on Thursday, we also have the US dollar flash manufacturing PMI. So from Monday to, let's say Monday is a bank holiday. That is is it a bank or is it a presidential holiday, stuff like that. But there is holiday in US on Monday. Yes, they have holiday on Monday. So we might not expect any volatility in the market on Monday. But starting from Tuesday, we have the Canadian dollar CPI. Wednesday, we have the AUD FOMC, AUD wage price index, and then FOMC meeting on Wednesday. That is from the US. And on Thursday, we have the French flash manufacturing PMI, and then we have pounds flash service PMI, we have Canadian core retail sales, US dollar unemployment claims, and the likes. So I don't really expect much volatility next week because of all this. But just wait for the Euro flash manufacturing PMI, and then what I think will move market next week is the CPI that has been released the previous week, and then market participants will likely take it into consideration in making their move next week, as we see that the US economy is still strong. So no basis for the rate cut in March, and the possibility of rate cuts in June has been reduced.
So on gold, my bias is to the downside on gold, because you can see that we have a massive fall back to this level, and then this is probably going to be a retracement. And then if you check the 4-hour time frame, there's a level of supply that markets need to retest at this particular area. As you can see, probably we should have a retest of this supply level before sellers come back and drag the price to the downside. So that's what I'm actually looking at here on gold right now, for price to retest this particular level that you can see right here, for price to retest it, and we have a rejection from that particular area, and then target should be at this level of support at 1974. That is where the target should be, because you can see we have this fall on Tuesday due to the CPI report, which comes out better than expected, and then this red candle is as a result of the PPI. So after the PPI, market bounced back, and the price bounced back from 1996 and then started going up back. That is I believe market can test 2025 before we have a seller coming back into that particular zone right there. So my bias is to the downside, but I'll be waiting for price to reject at this particular area, for price to come to this level, and then we might likely have a rejection back to 1974 from this particular area. So that's what I'm looking at on gold right there. And then as you can see, market price is still to the downside. As I say, we still have this price to the downside. But if you want to, let's use this, and then if we don't have the rejection from here, probably we might then have the rejection from this particular zone, as you can see. You understand? So which means that the supply level might actually be broken, and then we'll have price decline at 2038. So either of this level or of this level. So watch that level closely if you see to rejection on either of that particular level to the downside. So what I'll be doing is waiting to sell gold at 2025 or 2036, either of the two levels. But this is a more solid level, 2036, for you to actually go short on gold for a very long time, maybe for weeks, or like 2 weeks, or there about 2-3 weeks, back to 1 myself, or depend on the volatility in the market right there. So that's what I'm looking at on the pounds US dollar. I'm looking for a sell setup on pounds US dollar. You know, after various back and forth here, we have a ranging market here, and then price break to the downside, coming back to test this what the ICT called imbalance, and then we have a rejection back to this area. So if you check this area, you see that we have a rejection candle here, which is a 4-hour candle at this particular area. So probably if you see a candle closing below it on Monday, that is if a candle closes below it on Monday, don't hesitate to go for a short setup, and they probably will have a break of this trend line. As you can see, it is destined to break right there. So there's no way we won't have a break of this trend line to the downside, because I'm not even giving the vibes of upside at all. So what I'm looking at is, and then with what I said the other time, the UK being in recession, and then the strong US economy, you know what that means. We should have a 4 GBP to the downside. So that's what I'm looking at for price to come, and then from 1.25988 be selling to 1.2500. That is almost 900 pips right there. That is almost 98 pips, pardon, almost 98 pips right there. Yeah, almost 98 pips right there. So let's see how price reacts to that area. Yeah, so from here it should be 100 pips from here, from 1.26071 to 1.25. So it should be 100 pips from here if the price go back, and then we'll see a retracement back inside. So what I'm actually looking at is for a short position on GBP USD going to the next week, and on Euro USD too. I'm actually looking for a short position, that is for a sell bias on the Euro US dollar. So you can see this 4-hour candlestick to closing bearish. So probably what I'm looking at is for price to come, and then we see a short, we see a sell bias back in this particular level of support right there. So I think that's what I'm looking at on Euro US dollar. For price to come back to this particular support level. So I'm actually looking at this level of support. That is 1.46876. So that is that on AUD US dollar. That's what I'm looking at on Euro US dollar. So the next pair I want to check is so the next pair I want to check is the AUD US dollar. AUD US dollar too. I'm on sell bias on AUD US dollar too. From this level, I'm looking for a rejection, because this is a very solid resistance level. And then what you can notice here is that it has created a triple top here, which goes with the trend, that is 1, 2, 3. So probably I'm waiting for price to reject this level and then come back and form. You might see a new low from here down to this. For if you want to be on a safer side, so just take your profit at this low, that is at 0.64515. So you can just probably take your profit at this particular low if you want to be on the safer side, because you don't know, maybe if you come and retest this low and the price you don't know what price will do next. But my bias here is to the downside, seeing this triple top with the trend, and then seeing this a very solid resistance level right there. So probably I'm looking to short AUD USD back to 0.64515. On US dollar, Canadian dollar, I'm looking for a long position, but the Canadian dollar is very, very strong. So you might see two things from here. you might see price breaking through this level and coming back to 1.33. If we test this support level right there and reject back to 1.36071, or price to probably touch this trend line and we have to reject it. So these are the two things I'm actually looking at on US dollar, Canadian dollar going into the next week. Right, on Euro AUD, what I'm actually looking at Euro AUD is for a sell bias, because if you check this area, we price has break this level of support with the trend line, and then both the inner trend line and the outer trend line has been broken right there. So I'm actually looking for a sell bias back to this level, and then probably back to this particular level, and then this is the third target I'm looking at. And as you can see, this is a 4-hour time frame. So if you go to the 1-hour time frame, I actually see what I'm looking at here, because if you put this trend line here, so probably I'm not looking for price to go past this particular trend line or break this level right now. So I'm looking at for price to test this level, and then you have a decline from that area. So that's my bias, my bearish bias on the Euro AUD, because if you see this has been broken to the downside. As you can see, we have a breakout here, and then there's a breakout, there's a retest, and then there's a rejection. So probably price might actually come back here to retest again, and we see rejection back to 1.64588, and then back to 1.64113. So my bias on Euro AUD going to the next week is to the downside. On pounds AUD2, my bias is to the downside back to this level of support, that is 1.91945. So probably you might see price coming back here, and then to this area, and then we have rejection back to 1.91945. Or if we are to see it very well, this is a very stronger resistance level. So price can actually come back here and then retest this resistance level, and then we have rejection back to this level of support right there at 1.91945. So that's what I'm looking at on GBP AUD going into the next week right there. So for price to just retest this area, and then we have so I'll be selling GBP AUD going to the next week. Next week I'm not going to I have no buy bias here, so my overall bias on GBP AUD is to the downside, and then I'll be waiting for price to probably come and retest this trend, and then waiting for rejection at this area back to 1.91945. So that's that on GBP AUD. So the next pair I want to check is US dollar JPY. So I want to tell you guys that you should just be careful of this area of 150 to 151, and if you check the 151, is a very strong resistance level. So going to the next week, what I'm looking at is a buy bias, but I'll be taking my profits before 151.849. So I'm taking my profit at 151.500 before that particular resistance level at 151.845. So going to the next week, this is what I'm looking at. For price to come back to this area, as you can see, price is at 151.81. So I'm looking for price to come back and retest this level of demand, and then at this level I'm going to enter a buy bias. But like I said, I'm not putting my TP at 151.849. My TP is actually at 151.419, or let's say 151.450. So probably waiting for market to retest this area, and then I'll actually exit from that area, because I'll actually wait for price to come and retest this demand level, and then I'll be taking my profit at 151.419. So I'll be my bias is, I have a buy bias on US dollar JPY going to the next week, but I will be waiting for a retracement back to this area, and then a rejection to buy at that area. On JPY to the same bias with GBP with US dollar JPY. So I'll be waiting for price to come down to this level, and then waiting for rejection back to break this particular high, and then back to 193.585, that which might happen next week or probably the next couple of weeks. So that's what I'm actually looking at that particular area in GBP US dollar. So, but the last pair we want to check out here is the Canadian dollar Japanese yen. So that's the last pair I want to check, and then every of the pair goes in line with each other. So probably what I'm looking for on Canadian dollar JPY2 is a buyer. So I'll be waiting for a bounce at 130 for a bullish bias level. So this is where I'll be buying the Canadian dollar Japanese yen going to the next week, as you can see. So I'll be waiting for price to retrace back to 111.145, then I'll be taking my buy bias from that level. So guys, this is a weekly forex forecast. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and then there is a link to a verified broker in the description also, and then in the comment section. It was pinned, it is pinned in the comment section, so just try to register. They have easy deposit and then easy withdrawal, and don't forget that the GBP USD bot is still very effective, and people are cashing out big on the GBP USD bot, so you can join the team, and the minimum amount you can use on the GBP USD bot is $1,000. So that is the minimum amount you can use, and then you withdraw nothing less than, if you have $1,000, you withdraw nothing less than 100 to 150 weekly, depends on the volatility of the market. So like, share, and drop your opinion in the comment section. See you next week, and don't forget to trade safely.